Today I'm going to review the Toguard CE50 Ultra HD 4K dash camera. Now this is one that I've purchased. I have not received any compensation for this video. This is my own opinion. We're going to do some comparisons, compare it to my professional camera, and even compare it to my old little 1080 dash cam. We'll see how this thing looks. We'll take a look at the camera and then we're going to take it out and show you what it looks like on the road. I picked up this dash camera off Amazon. It's a 4K Ultra HD dash camera. I'm shooting this in 4K and I'm going to mount it in the car, and we'll drive around and take some images, take some video in 4K. I'm going to do some shooting at different times of day, and I'll even do some shooting tonight. This is going to be my official review. No, I was not given this camera on promo. I bought this with my own money. So it's going to be my dash camera that I'm going to have in the car going forward. Here's our specs. It records in a 3840 by 2160 resolution, which is 4 times the resolution of 1080p. Has a G sensor lock, so when it anything that triggers the G sensor, such as an accident or a fender bender or even hard braking, is going to lock the file so it doesn't get overwritten. Before we get started, I'm going to open the camera up and we're going to take a look at what's in the box. We'll go through some of the setup, and then I'm going to take it and mount it in the car, and we'll do some video with it. So here is the camera itself, official unboxing. This is the first time I've seen this unit. Even comes with a little screen protector on here, which I have to peel off. And it says, notice this camera records video in Ultra 4K resolution. It requires high-speed reading, and please use a high-speed memory card class 10 or above. And it says, please format if you're using a memory card for the first time. So it uses your standard USB power on the top here, and a micro SD goes in the side. So let's just look at the specifications and what else comes in the box so that you know what you're getting. You get, actually kind of nice because it comes with a permanent type mount that you can mount on the window and leave it there with a 3M VHB tape. And it comes with some more clips to hold the wire out of the way. And I don't know what this little tool is here. I guess we'll figure that out. It also comes with a conventional suction cup mount. And that's what I'm going to be using today. Power cord, and of course, power cord. A sign that lets people know that you've got a dash cam recording. Stick that on the window so that so that people know that they're being filmed. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. That might just draw attention. And just the basic cards. Should be an instruction book here, and then we're going to fire this thing up, and I'm going to go through the setup of the camera, and then we're going to take it and take it out in the car. So let me power this thing up, and I'll go grab a memory card, and we'll get started. Looking at the instructions here for the specifications, it says that it supports an SD card up to 32 gigabytes. Well, that could be a problem for me because, you see, the only micro SD 32 gigabyte card that I've got that is class 10 is the one that I'm currently using in the camera. So I may have to delete my files from this card and move all the files from this card over to my PC before I can continue. I'm going to look for another card, but I think my other one's only a class 6. I know that this is a class 10 Ultra card that's in here now because I'm able to write 4K to it. But that's beside the point. Looking at the specifications here, photo resolution 1210, 853, and 2 megapixel, depending on the resolution. Here's our resolution. In 4K, it's 30 frames per second. In 2.7K, 30 frames per second. 1080p can do 60 frames per second or 30 frames per second. And 720 records at 30 frames per second. We are going to be recording in the 4K 30 frames per second speed and mode just to get the best quality. So I've got a 32 gig class 10 card that I had to clear some stuff off of. I'm going to pop the card into the side of the camera, and then I'm going to proceed to set this up. So we'll peel this sticker off the back here. We'll power the camera up, we'll go through the menus together, and then I'm going to mount it in the car and we'll do some driving. So this video could be a few minutes long. Don't know. I don't know how much driving I'm going to do, but I'm going to do some driving with this thing in various different light levels. And we're going to see how this unit performs. So I'm just going to fire up my power supply here so that I can power this thing up in the shop here. And then we'll take it, set it up, and then take it in the car. The power supply accepts 12 to 24 volts, so it'll work in commercial vehicles as well as passenger cars. I'm just going to clip on and power it up here momentarily. So when I plug the power into the camera, it should turn on, I would think. It's going to turn on immediately. Lights up. It says, monitor what you concern. So we've got buttons on the side here for setting it up. And I'm going to hit, first of all, hit the menu key, which I believe might be this one. Maybe not. Is it this one? Oh, it's recording now. Let's just stop it from recording. Okay, that stops it. Press the OK button to start and stop recording. I think this is probably the menu key. Yes, it is. And it starts out at video resolution. We can move up and down through here. I'm going to change the video resolution. Press the OK key. So I can change the resolution here by pressing the up and down keys on the left side here. There's 4K 30 frames, 2.7K 30 frames, 1080p 60 frames per second, 1080p 30, 720 30. We're going to take it to 4K 30 frames per second because that's the one that I want to see. Press OK and it changes it to 4K 30 frames per second. Video quality we can choose from very good and good or general. So this is obviously going to change the bit rate. We're going to have it in very good because I want the best possible quality. And we can set our loop recording time. If I go to loop recording and press OK, we can select 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, or off. Now off is just going to fill the memory card up as one file, and once every time, I don't know whether there's a time limit on here. It may just continue to record until the card is full, but we'll test that out. But I'm going to set the time to 5 minutes on here. Oops, I did not change that. I have to change that to, go back here. What am I doing? Go back. Menu. Video resolution. 1 minute. I forgot to press the OK key, so I'm going to take it down to 5 minutes and press OK. White balance is automatic. I'm going to leave the contrast preset, the exposure preset. Power on recording will start automatically. Timestamp. I don't necessarily want the timestamp, so I'm going to turn the timestamp off. Plate number stamp, I don't want that on either. And then we can go into the next menu by pressing the menu key again. And now we've got the parking monitor. Parking monitor will record if the car detects any type of bump at all. So if we can turn that on, you can set it to low, middle, or high sensitivity. So we can turn it to low for that. G sensor, again, this is for locking the recording. You can set it to low, medium, high, or off. Set currently to medium. Sound recording, you can turn the sound recording on or off just by selecting sound or record sound and pressing the OK key to check or uncheck. We'll leave the sound on so that I can hear what the sound quality is like. Volume, you can change the volume, I guess, on playback for low, middle, and high. We'll leave it on medium. Key tone is checked. Light frequency auto. This is where you can check for what your power frequency is. Here in North America it's 60 Hertz, so I'll change it to 60 Hertz. And card info, it just tells me what size the card is. Delayed shutdown, okay, you can have it run for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, or off. If you set it for 15 seconds, it will run 15, it'll say shutdown 15 seconds after external power is removed, but you can change that. And format, that will format the card. Language is English. Date and time, let's set the date and time on here. So we'll set the time, it starts on 2018, so we'll just take this to 2019. Press OK, it's March 20th today, so March, and I guess I can go down. March 20th, and it's 5:30 in the evening, so 5:30 and 30 seconds basically, so we're almost right at the exact time. There we go. Date and time is now set. Screensaver, I don't want the screensaver, so I'm going to turn it off. So turn that off so that the screen will always be running. and restore factory settings, firmware version, and so forth. One thing I am going to do is I am going to format my card, because this card has not been used with this camera, so I'm going to format the card. And then once the memory card is formatted, there we go, memory card plug-in. Now that the memory card is formatted, I should be able to take this out and take it in the car. And I might add, there is a protector on the lens, so be sure you peel that off, otherwise you're going to have a foggy picture. Okay, now we'll go mount it in the car. So it appears the time to start recording from the time the power is turned on is about 10 seconds. I don't know how it is when the G sensor is set, whether it's quicker or not, but from the camera in power off mode, the time you get a picture and starts recording is about 10 seconds, which is on par with my other camera is about 8, so a couple seconds longer. So that was the recording made with the microphone on the Toguard CE50. As you can hear, the sound quality is about par what we expect out of these dash cams. They're not a high quality recording, it's just a mono recording. What we're looking at here is we're looking at a split screen. On the left side we're seeing the Toguard CE50 4K dash camera, and on the right this is my old Ojo cam, and I'm just showing you just for comparisons. You can see definitely there's a huge difference in the color saturation on the new camera compared to the old camera, which is pale by comparison. So let's lose that and just look at the new camera. Now, while I'm looking at this on my production monitor here, I don't see any difference in terms of the picture quality, but then I'm looking at this on a 1080p plasma screen, so of course I'm not going to see any difference. They're both going to show as a 1080 picture, so it'll be interesting when I look at the final video. I'm going to actually evaluate it on a 4K TV to see how much better it is. But looking at this on my monitor, the picture quality, I'm actually quite impressed. And I say this is going to be the camera going forward in my car. I'm going to retire the old one and I'm going to use this one in the car. That's why I purchased it. That way I won't have to mount my Sony on the dash when I want to do some travel videos and I want to shoot in 4K. So that's why I bought this camera, was to look at that. So I'm just going to drive around a bit now, and then we're going to take a look at some nighttime shots, and then I'm going to do some early morning shots and then some mid-afternoon shots, and I'll also compare it to my 4K Sony production camera, one of the cameras that I use for my video production business. So we'll compare this camera, which is about a sub $100 dash cam. I'm going to compare it to a $1,200 camera, and we'll see how it stacks up. It shouldn't stack up at all. It should have its ass kicked by the Sony, but we'll take a look at that shortly. I'm going to do a split screen on that, but I'm just going to let this one play just for a few seconds here. Then we're going to fast forward and we're going to go to the nighttime shots, and we'll do some comparisons between the Sony and this Toguard 4K camera at night and daytime. Now, specification-wise, I looked at the bit rate. It is encoding at 15 megabits. Ooh, that light was getting a little stale there. 15 megabits is the encoding speed for the video file. It's an MP4 container, standard MP4 file at 30 frames. My Sony, by comparison, when I do the comparison of that, it was encoded at 60 megabits. So we should see a huge difference in the quality. But I was looking at the resolution here. Look at the electrical wires. Look at all the fine detail in the trees. This has got good detail. I'm quite impressed for what it costs. I'm very impressed with the quality so far. Let's move ahead a bit and see how this one looks at night. Before it gets totally dark, though, I just want to take a couple shots and we'll take a look at how it's looking as the sun's starting to go down. I want to drive into the sun because this is always a hard type of an image to record when you're very backlit. I'm going to bring my Sony 4K camera in here on the right, and you can see the difference in terms of picture quality. So there's the Sony. This is an FDR AX33, and it is recording or encoding at 60 megabits per second, whereas the Toguard is fixed at 15. But I think the picture quality of it is actually very good. And looking at the sky, there's a little more color. The Sony tends to ride a little hotter, I think. But from what I recollection of memory, the sky was actually more of the color that it is on the Sony. It wasn't a blue sky. We're kind of going. It was almost getting an orange glow to it because there was some high cloud. But both of them have an excellent picture. The Sony's bringing a little more detail in the shadows. That's just completely because the gamma is a different curve. It's calibrated to a different gamma curve. So yes, the production camera is looking a little better in the low light levels. But other than that, detail-wise, they both have an excellent picture. Let's lose the Sony, and we'll just take another look at this full screen just for a minute, and then we're going to go to the totally dark scenes. So now we're looking at just the car headlights. There's no street lights here at all, nothing. So I'm going to come into the town here, and this gives you an idea what you can expect from this camera in total darkness. I went out to a country road there just to see how it is. Now we're getting into the more city lights, and I'm going to bring the Sony camera in here and put this one to shame. But then again, I mean, you'll see in a second here. This is actually very good for a dash camera. This one looks pretty good, but as you can see, when I bring in my production camera, it is much more sensitive. And this shot's just going to compare it again to my 6-year-old 1080 camera, which is now on the right. As you can see, much clearer than the old dash camera at night. Let's look at some bright sun pictures now. So these last few shots I'm going to show here, this was shot at about 8 o'clock in the morning. And then I'm going to show you some high or mid-afternoon shots. And then that should give you a good roundabout picture quality evaluation of the Toguard CE50 4K dash camera. As you can see, now we're looking, the sun's behind me now, we've got very good lighting, and the picture quality of this thing is fantastic. And I know there's going to be people that are going to argue, they're going to say, oh, my black box does better than this, and my X brand of camera does better than this. You got to remember, this is a $80 camera. I think it was $80 or $89, something like that. It's not a very expensive camera, and I think for price for the money, this thing does a really good job. I mean, just looking at I'm just looking at it as I'm editing it here, and I have no complaints about the picture quality, that's for sure. Gonna do one more shot, and it'll be mid-afternoon, so we can see how it looks with the sun high in the sky. So let's go and take a look at some mid-afternoon shots. Now remember, all the settings here are set to factory default. I'm not compensating for exposure. I'm not compensating for anything. This is all set auto gain, auto level. Everything's set. No exposure compensation. Everything is set to 0. So what you're getting off the camera, this is how it comes out of the box. I'm driving down this road here because there's a lot of background detail, so we can see how the detail of the tree branches and stuff. I'm just going to let this play out here for a bit, and then we're going to end the video. I think we've seen enough. I like it. It looks good. It certainly looks better than my old camera. It's time to replace my old camera anyway, because it's getting kind of long in the tooth. I wanted something that was going to give me a little bit better picture, and I think I found a camera that will do the job without costing a small fortune. I tried the shock sensor, and if you have it in on standby mode, if someone bumps the car, it's going to turn on to record, but it does take a few seconds to kick in, so you're going to miss that impact. If you're thinking it's going to catch that, unfortunately it doesn't. It takes a few seconds to start. But I can slam my hand onto the door, and it's enough to trigger it, or shake the car. When it's in high sensitivity mode, it actually is quite sensitive. I can just just close the car doors enough. I have the door open and then have the camera off and just close the door, and that's enough to trigger it, and it'll record for 15 seconds or as long as there's any motion. So if someone hits your car, it's going to get a shot of the person leaving, but it's not going to get a shot of them actually hitting your car, because it does take a few seconds to start up and start recording. Anyway, I think that's about all I can do on this thing. I've shown you guys how it looks. I've compared it to a couple of other cameras, including my $1,300, $1,200 production camera that I use to do my YouTube videos. I think it stacks up pretty good from what I've seen here on the monitor. I'm going to go look at this on my 4K monitor once I get it rendered out here, and we'll see how it looks there. But I'm giving this one a thumbs up. I'm happy with the purchase, and I won't be sending this one back to Amazon. I'm going to hang on to this one here. Looks like I've got a winner here, and we'll do a long-term test on this, and I'll let you guys know going forward how it's performing, like I do with all the cameras. I've got a few dash cams. I've got one in my truck at work and stuff that I'm testing as well. And some of those cameras, though, I got promo. This one here I actually had to go out and buy. So yeah, I'm happy with it. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you again in the next one real soon. Bye for now.